Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another video on this journey called life. I hope these experiences from Paris gives you some simple inspiration to create more beauty and love in your life. Hey, beautiful souls. I've just arrived in Paris and I wanted to show you my hotel room because it is so cute. It's a cute little boutique hotel that I walked from the train station. And it's been quite a long day. I've been spending time on the train. The train was delayed for like an hour, so I arrived like an hour late here. But I've been keeping myself occupied with this book that I'm currently reading, which is also the same color scheme as this hotel room, which is so cute, so beautiful. I really highly recommend this book to anybody wanting to get in touch and awaken their inner feminine, because this book is really going to change the way that you see the world, and it's going to really empower you into following your heart, listening to your inner truth, and I would even say caring less about societal norms and really becoming braver. You know, it really is instilling within all of us the courage and the bravery to listen to our truth despite what society might say. It is called A Radical Awakening by Dr. Shefali. But I think the most important part, like the coolest part of this book, is the part where she writes about different types of ego that we all have and how we slip back and forth between these different types of egos, and there's a lot of them. And I think that helps to really bring out into clarity what our ego is doing to us, because when we talk about the ego, sometimes it's a very lucid concept and it's very hard to grasp, but she really made that into something that is easily identifiable with, so that we can actually work through it. So she says that, for example, there is, and this is what, she says the face of the ego that most women have to deal with is the giver. So the giver includes the victim, the martyr, the savior, and the bleeding empath. And then going from the giver, we have the controllers, which includes the perfectionist, the helicopter, the tyrant, and the shield. And then we have the takers, which includes the diva, the princess, and the child. And I can see parts of all of these types of ego manifesting in myself from time to time in my life. But I think that what you'll find as well, if you do read this book, is that there's going to be certain elements, a few, like one or two faces of the ego that is more present with you. And knowing how that came to be because of your childhood, and really like embracing that and working with that, I think is really a beautiful, a beautiful path to awakening. And I wanted to update you guys a little bit on what's been happening with my therapy sessions. So last therapy session was 2 days ago. And as I might have told you guys, I'm not sure, but on Instagram, I've been sharing that I'm working through feeling safer in my body and cultivating environments that help me to make me feel safe. And in my last session, which actually happened right on the Mars-Uranus conjunction, brought so much epiphanies and insights into how my body works. And I was basically feeling into the spectrum of safe to the very unsafe. And then there's like the neutral zone, right? And the really interesting thing that came up was when I had to really feel into how I went from my neutral state to the most unsafe feeling. That was actually something easy to sort of feel into and to allow my body to become. So it was sort of like a somatic embodiment work that I was doing. But reversing that, so going from a feeling of unsafe back to a feeling of neutral, was really hard. And I think that a lot of us, especially the way that I grew up in my childhood, my family, it was, we had to be on this protective mode. It was easy to get into the habit of protecting myself. And so that was easier to do. But to actually come back to a state of feeling safe was something much harder for my body to get used to. And so I think that this is going to be a very interesting next few weeks or months to really be working with this part of like reversing that, so that I'm not stuck in feeling unsafe, because that leads to passive aggressiveness or being defensive or people pleasing, which is all just a protection mechanism. But we don't have to, I don't have to protect myself in a lot of situations in my current life right now. It's really just a coping mechanism of my childhood in the past. So that was a really interesting session. And yeah, if any of you guys are working through something similar, then feel free to share. So I'm going to be here in Paris for the next 2 days. And I'm going to be meeting up with my friend. So we're going to meet up, we're going to go see some art, we're going to go see some Monet and the water lilies, which Monet always makes me feel so, just like, makes me feel beautiful, makes me feel at peace. And so I'm really looking forward to that. Outfit check today. I'm wearing a shirt that I got from somewhere like a really long time ago. And this skirt I thrifted. It was like less than 20 euro in Amsterdam. I love the fact that it's got pockets here as well. So beautiful. I just got back into my hotel room from a very full and fulfilling day here in Paris. I hung out with 2 of my friends, and I didn't mention it earlier, but they are both projectors in human design. So I'm an emotional projector, Erica is an splenic projector, and Kathy's a self-projected projector. And I just always love it when projectors are hanging out, because it's like we have sort of compatible energy levels. So I was out since 10:30 in the morning, which is a pretty good day to start for me. I don't want to start it too much earlier than that. I mean, I woke up earlier, but I had like a slow morning, just kind of walking to the bakery next door and having some coffee. But the actual day when, I was actually active was from 10:30. And I walked around Paris for a bit. These are like the magic of like projectors getting together is, we were just kind of like sitting there looking at the water lilies by Monet. There was just this grounding energy, which I know that all projectors have. We all have this within us, is this ability to not have to keep going and going and going and going. And that is what I have found to be make it easy to hang out with other projectors. It's kind of like we're in sync during certain moments when our energy feels like that's enough, like let's rest. And so just like sitting there with 2 other projectors, really being at peace and really being able to talk in very, 3 projector ladies, we talk in very, I think, sweet and cute ways. Like I was, asking my friends which one of Monet's water lilies did they like the most in terms of the actual water lily, like the actual flower in the painting, because he painted a lot of water lilies. But I didn't mean like which of his paintings, but I meant which flower in the water lily did they like the most. And just kind of like sparking this kind of curiosity together and kind of talking about art, which is I just feel like it's so wonderful to have this kind of deep, curious conversation with other projectors. I think that if I were hanging out with generators, which I've experienced, it would be kind of like a whole full-on day, right? But here I am. I just bought some stuff from the supermarket, and I'm just gonna have a nice little calming dinner here in my room because my energy is kind of running out. And both of my projector friends are like, yeah, like I'm kind of done for the day, I think. And so we just kind of parted ways at around 6 o'clock. Yeah, it was quite a long day for projectors in this heat that we've got here in Paris. Yeah, I just love the way that we could be in sync. And we had also a similar moment last year when we were hanging out in Amsterdam. We talked very deeply about life and death and our dreams and our aspirations on a full moon. And you can feel it. Like when you're in a room and there's only projectors and something is, and there's a connection there, it gets very magical and very deep. But I think this time around, there were lots of conversations around relationships and really going deep into that. But you know, whenever you talk about relationships, it's really talking about ourselves, right? We are a reflection of whoever we are with. And whenever we're talking about the challenges that we have in relationships, it's always coming back to, well, how is this person currently my spiritual teacher? And what are they trying to teach me? And that's kind of something that my therapist has been trying to guide me towards as well, in terms of the people in my life that are the most challenging to me. How is it that they are my greatest spiritual teacher? What are they trying to teach me about myself and life and my growth and my evolution? And so these are the kinds of topics that, you know, we talked about. And of course, I could not pass up a bag of macaroons because it's just something I'm absolutely crazy about. I'm gonna bring it back home and enjoy it with Arya and my partner. We are macaroon crazy. So I got a bag here, and that's kind of like my goal coming here. Of course, to see the art, but also to get some macaroons. And I just feel like while we're on this topic of friendships and relationships, I want to read you guys a little quote that, a little excerpt from this book that I was telling you about, because I just happened to get to a chapter in the book that was about love and relationships. This is my favorite part of this chapter that is about love. And she writes that at its core, love is a free emotion. What this means is that it is impromptu, unpredictable, accidental, and unintended. It occurs naturally and spontaneously. It cannot be forced, suppressed, planned, or organized. It cannot be contained because it's alive and constantly changes, as do all living things. It simply doesn't stay the same, but evolves. To bottle it up in a formula is to kill its essence and void its true spirit. To tell it how to express itself, when and with whom, for how long, is to suck the beauty of love's essential nature and convert it to another feeling. Maybe still a worthy feeling, but not the one we associate with love. Love doesn't ask to be returned and matched. It just loves for its own sake. It gives for free because its essential nature is freedom. And it needs to be allowed to happen freely and needs to be released freely. It is no obligation or duty. It is wild and untamed. As long as we see love as an achievement of our identity, we will forever be enslaved by its presence in our life and never truly be free of its shadow emotions, hate, betrayal, rejection, or abandonment. These shadow emotions stem from a faulty notion of love. Beautiful souls, I just want to say that was so beautiful. Love is ultimately akin to freedom. And there are no obligations associated with love. And I think that when we are with somebody else in a relationship, if we are not truly healed, if we cannot give ourselves the freedom to live the kind of life that we actually want to live, if we cannot empower ourselves into our freedom, how can we do that for another? And so when we enter into any kind of relationship, we have to ask ourselves, what does it mean to be authentically ourselves? And what does it mean to be free? And be honest about what we actually want in terms of authenticity and freedom. Only when we really understand that do we lose control, we lose the possessiveness and the jealousy, which is not love. That's not love. And when we can lose these kinds of controlling, manipulative types of behaviors, do we enter into a wholesome relationship with another. And that is when we flourish. Well, send you guys out there so much love today. I'm gonna be starting my dinner. Maybe take a shower first and then start to eat my dinner. Also got a bottle of wine. Looking forward to that as well. Giving myself some self-care, which is always food and wine and nature. But yeah, I feel like my body's also been, like when I'm here in the city, I've been noticing how it's very different, of course, to being in nature. It doesn't feel as safe. It doesn't feel as free. It doesn't feel as magical as when it is in nature. And so I think I'm ready for this phase of my life where I'm going to be transitioning into living in nature. More on that real soon, because they've got some plans coming up about how we're going to be living more in nature. So stay tuned to my future videos. Send you guys so much love today. Bye!